Have you forgotten who I am? Have I forgotten who I am? Hello, yes, welcome to, I was going to say this week's video, but it probably more accurately should be this quarter's video based on how few videos I've actually posted this calendar year. Apologies for that. I've heard quite a few retired people say that once they'd retired from their job, they didn't know how they had the time to actually do it. And I can see that's very, very true. Right, I am going to be making a new video. It comes out of a bit of a colouring workshop that I did at the weekend with Mark from Bristol, who came up for the day. And I'm going to show you how we created this effect. Now, one thing that I'm going to try to avoid, you can see there the grain quite strong. This is because it's had ebonising lacquer put on the wood, and lacquer is not paint. Lacquer still allows the grain to come through. Depending on what the grain looks like underneath this bit of colouring fun that I've got on this blank already, I might fill that grain with something before I put the lacquer on, because I don't want the grain to fight with the decorative embellishment that I'm adding. Right, yes, so it's another reworked piece. I'm going to have to get this on the chuck and get myself a nice little spigot or something on that face to reverse it so I can clean it up, sand it to a higher standard and get rid of the grubby bits of paint that someone spilt on the back. And I'm going to put a second coat on. I'm really going to finish this as well as possible. Bit of a shock to everyone for me to finish a project, never mind actually post a video. One coat of microcrystalline wax gives a lot of protection, but I want to be sure that if I get any fingerprints on the back, it's going to be very easy to remove them when I've done the colouring on the other side. If I have it on bare wood, as you saw, it's a bit of effort to get rid of it all. Buff that up with a little brush in the texture, otherwise you'll have raw wax in there, it'll get a bit sticky or feel a bit sticky. You can buff this earlier than the 20 minutes it says on the can, but best to at least leave it a few minutes. I want to use this just to make sure I get enough in that little transition point there. perfectly true, but I think I might be able to get it a bit better than that. Top tip, wear 2 gloves. Now the last bit of colour that's going on is some Jo Sonja copper and thinned down with a little bit of flow medium. So sort of large pea-sized dollop of paint. About the same of flow medium, and this is just to help as it dries, it'll, being a bit thinner, it'll lie flat on the surface. I don't want it standing proud too much. I've got some over the edge, that's a little bit annoying. I think I can wipe that off though. Let's carry on with that. There we go. I get a better view of it if I do it over that side. Heavy in one or two places with my purist hat on. I said this was the last bit of colour, didn't I? But actually I'm going to recreate what I did in the colouring workshop and put a little band of stain at the edge just to frame it. I think it adds something. Right. That's enough for colouring. Not too dissimilar from the first go at this. I think I prefer this being a little, the paper was a little bit wider, so I've got slightly bigger squares of colour there. But I think it will be neater with a black edge. So some carbon black, not very much, just a little splodge like that. And obviously if I wipe that splodge on, it's going to be a great big mess. So let's fold it into the paper, spin. Got some onto the back, which is irritating but not a disaster, he says, because it should be protected by the wax that's there, and it'll just be a case of sanding that back. I'm taking a lot of care with this one. It's almost like I really want to finish it and have it looking good. Right, sausages and roast potatoes and cauliflower in white sauce now, and at least 3 other vegetables. Oh, I love eating. Acrylic gloss lacquer going on now, 3 coats. Don't put too much on, don't put too little on. You've got to be able to see the lacquer hitting the workpiece, and then keep working that wet edge across the dry bit of wood. I can't stress how important it is to have the right temperature and humidity. This week has been the first time that I've been able to successfully use lacquer in the workshop. We've got a temperature of 20 degrees, humidity of 54. So I've managed to put 1 coat on without you knowing. Didn't press record. It's only had a few minutes, but can definitely see the shine of it. I'm hoping that there's not too much dust in the air. It's been a while since I did any sanding, and I've had the air filter running. So I'm going to leave that to go off, and I'm going to come back in 20 minutes and do the second coat. Who knows, I might even film that one. Do I look a bit like Joe 90 in my safety glasses? Now it really has been far too long without me posting a video, so I'm going to just do a little bit of turning to finish this off to give the effect of it. I haven't got time to finish all of the inside and buff up the lacquer today, but before I do that, just a quick shout out for the wonderful Woodturning weekender held by Chestnut Products up in Haywood in Manchester at the end of July, no, beginning of August, the 5th and 6th of August. The previous Woodturning weekender events have been absolutely amazing. I've enjoyed every single one of them. Sadly, this year I can't make it. Prior engagement at the Edinburgh Festival, playing guitar and singing. If you're in Edinburgh, look me up. But if you're not in Edinburgh, get to the Woodturning weekender. Right, let's just get some bare wood in the middle of this bowl. So the noise extractor from OBS is doing its job, and you can't hear any of those lovely sharp shavings flying off the gouge. But while that's playing, yes, sorry you've had to wait such a long time for a video. I haven't been entirely dormant for the last 2 months though. Since retiring, I had an absolutely fantastic trip to Austria, the amazing Neureiter show, where I was able to represent Chestnut Products and spend a wonderful weekend turning, colouring, talking to dozens and dozens of people. There were several thousand people who came through the show. It was absolutely amazing. So thank you to Terry at Chestnut Products for that opportunity. Hopefully I'll be able to do that kind of thing a little more. Now there's no one telling me what I need to do each day of the week and when. It's actually a very, very, very pleasant feeling. So the finishing off in the middle of this is just a quick one because I've got to finish off the back. There's a little bit of, well, let's say a little bit of black paint where it oughtn't to be. So I've got to sand that off. And I've also got to do a little bit of work on the lacquer. But this was great fun to do. I've taken a lot of care over this one. It really will get properly finished, and you'll see the evidence of that with your own eyes. Well, not in the wood, virtually, of course. The pictures will be appearing soon as that's all finished off for you. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this full 2-monthly wait for a video. So here it is outside in the sunshine. Really very brilliant shine on that copper paint. If I've ever had anything to say about it, maybe a little bit too heavy in one or two places, the copper, but I do like the shine on it. There you can see it, the gleam caught. It's quite hard capturing the gleam, but it's interesting as you come down to a lower angle, those stripes come through a bit more. So it changes quite a bit depending on where your eye is in connection to the rim. Some little close-ups there. It's a little bit probably shaky, just handheld on my mobile phone. Now what I haven't done is to polish up the lacquer. It needs a little bit of attention. I'll record that and make a separate video of it, but for the fact that I've been retired now for 2 months, one video is a pretty poor show. Anyway, as they say, or as I say, until next time, thanks for watching.